I'm all done for the day, and it's Saturday. It is Saturday, the 28th of December, 2024, and I'm Andrew from 510 Books. This is my store. I'm closed. I'm done. Got to go home. And today was slow, but I got a lot done. I'm still on my journey of cleaning things up here, sorting through every last piece of potential inventory that I have piled up or hoarded or whatever you want to call it. And I made a lot of headway with the records. So now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 crates of records that are already sorted through. So I'm already they're already organized by genre. So all I have to do is just pull them when it's time to put more records out on my sales floor. And then I'm just left with this box here, which doesn't have that many. I mean, it has a decent amount. It has like half the box, and then that one is still full. So a box and a half left, not bad. I'm proud of achieving that. And also yesterday I got, where did it go? I got more time for my EcoPro. So I got another, what is it called? Time card or chip or whatever. And that arrived. So now I can start attacking the remainder of of the CDs that I have, which are all Time Life CDs. I have them stacked up there, and I have that box. So I still have those to go through. There's also 2 sets down here that I'm going to, once I finish going through everything else, I'll see if there's anything to add to those. If there's not, I'll just sell them as is. And that'll be it for all of the CDs that I had collected or kept as I continued to go through those pallets or gaylords of CDs only, and all the other CDs that I would get, that I would either get donated or would buy or would do trades for. So that's really close to being done. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to do it by the end of the year, but I am glad that I was able to get so much done. And I started talking about this a little while back and really digging into it. So I made tons of progress. That's great. And the bathroom in here, situation in here is much better. There's a lot less stuff. And all of those crates are full of replacement cases for either DVD cases or CD jewel cases. And the plan is to get a shelf here, bookshelf, probably. I haven't been able to open my door completely because I've had so much stuff in here. So I'm probably going to have the door open completely and have either one really big bookshelf, all the way close to the ceiling, 1 or 2 here on this side, and another one over here, so that I can store all of the cases, and we'll see what else I can store there to just get it off of the floor and try to, make this space a little more, which is the bathroom, right? But it is a good area to store stuff in because I'm limited with that. We'll see what else I put in there. But that is coming down the pipe. I already started looking locally for used bookcases. I found a couple potentials nearby. So when I get to that point where I'm ready to pounce and get another bookcase, I can find one hopefully and put it in there and get organized. That's just an idea, an example of how I'm going to get more organized, how I'm not going to be so cluttered. So as an example, I've got 3 stacks there of boxes of CDs, mostly TV box sets. Actually, I think they're all TV box sets. And I still have some room here. So I'll probably be putting all that stuff over there in the shelving, in the shelves, just to, just move stuff off of the floor and up on shelving. And all the records, I'm still going to have to figure out how to deal with all of that once I have them all sorted through, because I have to store them somehow. And I know it's not the best idea to stack the records on top of each other in the crates, but I might end up having to just do that. I did it before. It wasn't a big deal. But I know some people get really, really like upset or get feel the need to comment about that and say that it could warp the disc or warp the records. But I did that before with a bunch of them in there, which you knew that were piled up there. So I showed you many times, and ended up putting all of those out. Either sorted through them and put them in here, or most of them have already gone out on the sales floor, and there weren't any problems. So that's another thing is storing all of that stuff. And I got a bunch of stuff under here. So it's still a work in progress, but I'm so much closer to being done with the big thing was getting through all of the extra inventory, unsorted inventory. That's the big mountain that I've been climbing, and I'm close to reaching the peak, but not quite there yet, but very close. And then just stuff that's just kind of all over the place, that needs to be better organized. Like I've got a bunch of bags for different purposes in here related to media, so I've got to have all that stored. I'm going to end up putting it on the shelves, and just so none of that stuff is out here. It's weird that it doesn't make sense that it's out here. So this is kind of getting to my point of what I want to talk a little bit about, which is planning and how important planning is. But these are all examples of me having a plan now for how to be better organized, so that when I work back here, I can find things quickly, whether it's, CD cases, DVD cases, whether it's bags, whether it's records, back stock, whatever it is, that I can quickly locate it, and not have to hassle with pulling it from under this table, pulling it out from the bottom of this crate, behind this crate, behind that box, et cetera, et cetera. All that silliness is really how I've been doing it for many years now, and how I want to stop now. My plan now is to stop doing that and to make things organized and only have things here that are for work purposes. So what I end up doing sometimes is I will keep personal stuff here. That just needs to go to my house. In my garage, where I have organized all of my personal physical media on shelves, and that's where all that needs to go. So, that kind of thing, right? Separating work from personal, and here on my workspace, making it efficient. So number one, that it's efficient, that I can find things quickly, get things done faster. And number two, so that it's not such a big headache, or it's like a stressor when I look and see kind of the mess, which is what I still am looking at now. It's better, but it's not there yet. So have a plan, right? And this sounds so trite. It sounds so typical or whatever, that someone says have a plan, but if you're gonna start reselling, whether it's you just started reselling or you're even thinking about it right now and you're watching this video or one of my other videos, whatever, have somewhat of a plan. What I mean by that is, what are you going to do? Are you going to sell books? Are you going to sell media? Are you going to sell other items that's not related to media, whatever it is? But let's say you're selling media. You want to start selling records. You want to start selling video games. Okay, figure out where to find them. Figure out how much you're willing to spend, what's your minimum profit, all that kind of stuff. So just have a plan, right? I didn't have a plan. When I opened this store, it was really fueled from seeing other people do it throughout the country, and knowing that there wasn't anything like this where I live in my area, and thinking it was a good idea, which it ended up being a good idea, but I didn't really have much of a plan. And now I'm become a much better planner. And part of that comes from having kids too, where you are forced to plan. If you don't, things become a disaster. So that's been also part of it for me, my evolution as an adult. And so like I've talked about, right, is having an organized workspace. Also, the other thing is inventory. Here's the big one when it comes to reselling. If you're going to resell, don't get overwhelmed by inventory, and don't stress out about inventory. There's always more inventory to find. There's always more used, and you can even find new stuff, but there's so many sources. You just have to figure out what works best for you. Don't stress about it. If you have a job, work your job and slowly learn how to be a reseller. If you're already reselling full-time, or maybe you're doing it as just extra income, and your significant other is making most of the money, whatever it is, still don't get stressed out about inventory. Don't, where am I going to find inventory? Find inventory, whether it's at thrift stores, whether it's at estate sales, garage sales, library book sales, locally. buying in bulk or whatever it may be through Facebook Marketplace, through OfferUp, through Craigslist. There's so many different ways to find inventory, offer free pickup, free, book and media pickups, whatever it is. You can find inventory. It's out there, especially if you live in an area, a city or a region that has even a few 100,000 people or many hundreds of thousands, or like me that has millions within, 30 miles. You will not have a problem finding inventory. Now, if you live in a small area, a small city that has 10,000 people and there's no other big cities nearby, you're just gonna have to drive farther. That's the bottom line. But there's always going to be inventory, right? There's always people getting rid of stuff. There's always people looking to sell stuff for cheap. But don't get overwhelmed with it. So my point is, have a plan. Number one, where to find it. And number two, get through that inventory fast. Don't stock it up like I have done and like so many people have done and get overwhelmed mentally and literally physically by having it occupy so much space. It ends up occupying your house, your apartment, your garage, your storage unit, and then a warehouse, and then a retail space. So don't do that, right? So once I get to the point of having gone through all of my inventory and then having set up an organized workspace, a much more organized workspace, I will then start my new journey of creating a consistent flow of new inventory. So as you know from my videos, because I have this location, I've had it for 5 years, I get lots of donations. I get lots of trade or store credit opportunities, as well as lots of buying opportunities. And I've taken advantage of all of those. And almost every week I get one of those three. This week it happened to be a big bunch of books that were donated. But it's been a little slow lately because it's the holidays. That's typical. But I guarantee you in January, I will get lots of new inventory, either through donations, trades, or buys, for sure. And even if it slows down, it's not as much as I thought. It's still going to be something. So that's still going to come to me because I've built this funnel sort of new inventory by creating this space here, and now people know about me. And it's not like even everybody knows about me. It's only a small percentage of people in the area that know about me. The more that people find me, the more they bring me stuff. That's one of the most popular questions, aside from when are you open, what are your hours, is do you buy stuff? Do you take donations? Do you do store credit? People ask me that all the time. So that's been my way the last 5 years of getting lots of inventory. However, it ebbs and flows. I don't have a constant, huge amount of inventory all the time. However, sometimes I will get hit weeks in a row of lots of inventory, and then I will feel kind of overwhelmed because it's a lot and it's going to take a lot to get through. But if and when that happens, that'll be a different conversation, right? And that'll be a different situation that I would have to deal with. If it was every single day I was open, or every week I was getting hundreds of individual items in, then that becomes a situation where I might not have to go look for inventory at all, which is great. But I'm going to be starting to plan on a source or sources that I can have constant new DVDs, new Blu-rays. I'm looking for 4Ks. I really want to up my 4K game here in the store. I want to get way more video games, all that kind of stuff, right? Quality books. But, like I've talked about, mixed media, Gaylord is probably what I'm going to try out again, but we will see. So I have a plan. I'm getting way more like militaristic or serious about having a plan. So I just recommend it as a reseller. If you're going to grow, even if you're going to have it as a small bit side hustle, side business, just going to make a little bit extra money. You just want to make an extra $500, $1,000 a month, whatever it is, $100 a week, $200 a month. Or if you want to make $5,000 a month, whatever, you got to have a plan. Don't get overwhelmed by inventory. Don't get overwhelmed by the whole thing. Set aside time for it. Find your inventory. If you're doing eBay, take your photos, list the items, run your promotions. If you're doing Amazon, find your inventory, list it, ship it. Just be organized, have a plan. All right, guys, I'm done with my rant. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Happy New Year. Take care.